let me tell you a little scenario, a little piece of physiology for everybody who's still listening to the recorded or live. Thank you so much, all of you who's logged in to watch the live thing. And I think you're all seeing this map, aren't you? I think so. Yeah, good. Thanks. Good. The average sized human being, whatever that is, maybe men and women both, you can absorb about 2,000 calories. The average sized human being, what is that? Maybe 150-pound, man or woman. That average sized person, 106. I don't know what an average size is. Obviously, somebody who's built like a football player, 250-pound person is going to be able to absorb more calories, but they're burning more calories per mile. A more petite person who weighs 90 pounds is going to be able to absorb far fewer calories, but they're also going to be burning far fewer calories per mile as well. But the average person uses about 2,000, can absorb 2,000 calories. The average person, sized person, can burn off about 100 calories per mile. Keep in mind, a gel, goo, Cliff Shots, all the ends on this screen are Newen stations. We're gonna have a lot of Newen stations this year. I think there are about a Newen station looks like almost every mile, where in the past Gatorade was every other mile. We got Newen, looks like, and Newen Endurance. It's not the Newen we get at our Saturday morning runs. It's Newen Endurance, which has way, way more calories in the form of carbohydrate. It's way better for what you guys need. You can test out Newen Endurance at the expo. They will have it there. So if the average human being utilizes 100 calories per mile, where is it that you're going to start? Even if you get the first 6 miles right, where is it that you're going to start to hit the wall? 2,000 divided by 100 is what? Anybody? All right, I'll tell you. It's mile 20. Just doing the math. The average human being will run out of calories at mile 20. Now, if you do the first 6 miles wrong, you have the average person has about 80 to 90 minutes. This will become important later, as about critical later on in our discussion. You have about 80 to 90 minutes of glycogen before you hit the wall. That's not to say you run out of glycogen. It's to say science now indicates that your brain, your subconscious, has governors. And the governors in your subconscious brain begin to shut you down when, after about 80, 90 minutes of glycogen consumption, due to fatigue, due to you're just depleting that glycogen a little bit. Your body will not allow you to run out of glycogen, essentially. But hitting the wall is devastating, whether it's your subconscious or whatever. So if you start this first 6 miles too high a heart rate, and you're a 10-minute per mile group, that's like 60-something minutes. You're already 60 minutes into your 80. You got 20 minutes to go before your brain starts shutting you down, and it gets tougher and tougher and tougher and tougher and tougher until really even mile 13 to 15, you will see people in there starting to walk. Now, obviously, you want to take in gels. You want that extra 100 calories. Our blue LARR awning and an orange awning for USA Marathon Training will be right over there. This morning, we got the okay, the approval to put our awning on on Santa Monica Boulevard, westbound, going out toward this way. And you'll see us cheering for you on the way back to the finish line. But there, you won't need a gel when you got half a mile to go to the finish line. That's another story. So really, first 6 miles, same as a Rose Bowl. you got two big hills. Rose Bowl had one little one and then a long 1 miler. This has got one that's 1.25 miles up Temple and then beyond. And it's a good, just like the little quarter-mile one at the beginning of the Rose Bowl. This has got like a 1/4 mile and then another 1/4 mile, 1/2 mile. So it's just take Rose Bowl half, multiply it by 2. Got it? Okay. Hopefully that gives you a little more confidence, like, hey, I can hit my mark. Sherry, I think you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yes. After we circle back and we're heading back into Century City, are we going to be on the left-hand side of the road? Are we all going to be on the right-hand side of the road? Because that hill bevels. So I just want to know what to be prepared for.
Well, we're going to get into that in a little bit, but I can only say, basically you're going to be on the right side of the road in both directions, if that makes sense. Going out, you're going to be on the right side of the road, which is the north side, the westbound traffic. You're going to be running with normal traffic. Obviously, there are no cars. And coming back, you'll be on the right side of the road because that's the right side of the road, but you'll be going back the other way on the south side of the road, what is normally the eastbound traffic. Did that kind of answer your question? There is a big median in between, but you don't need to know that. Did that answer your question, Sherry?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. And we'll get more into those little hills because they're very ugly and you're not going to like what you hear. But well, something, when you know it's coming and you plan for it, like, you're going to get a little wristband, or you can print out that chart, cut it up and tape both sides of it. It's kind of like plasticizing it with taping the bottom and then the top, and then tape the thing to your wrist, and you'll have this great little waterproof wristband. You can either print out mine or get one at our LA Roadrunner awning at the expo, because thank God Lucy printed out like 250 of these things, right? At any rate, so yeah, you're going to see it's all in the game plan, but the last mile sucks. Anyway, but you'll get through it on time because you'll know it's coming. You'll have a plan for it. It's a game plan. By the way, someone mentioned this before. Just tonight, before we started recording, they said they never had a game plan. And, I want to tell you, that's true. On the other hand, until now, and I hate to pat myself on the back or whatever, toot my own horn, but until now, you've never had a coach that was ever in charge of official pace leaders. Until now, the only thing you guys had was Mark did a great job with a year ago. And that was his first experience being in charge of official pace leaders. Before that, I was never an official pace leader of the LA Marathon. On the other hand, for the last 17 years, I have been in charge of official pace leaders for dozens of races. So if you're getting a different picture, this is what I'm hoping for. I said the very first thing to our pace leader meeting, I said very first sentence out of my mouth, I said it at the Rose Bowl discussion. I said, I don't necessarily want to change what you do. I want to change how you think about it. And tonight is a big ticket item on my attempt to change how you think about doing a marathon, especially the LA Marathon. Because Rose Bowl half, no offense, but it is a technical race, and you guys had a PR. You're not supposed to have a PR in the Rose Bowl half. I ran that same route. It's a great route. I love that route. It's like a roller coaster. And there were people that came in with me that said, thank you, I had a PR. You know what you're doing, you can get it right. You get it right, you're going to have people thanking you, just like the Rose Bowl half. It's going to happen again. You guys are going to get just as excited, cross that finish line on target, on time, as you did at the Rose Bowl half. Because now, for the first time, Everybody's got a game plan and it's going to work, but let's get into it more. And this is for everybody, not just pace leaders. Let's face it, if you lose your pace leader somewhere along the way, you're drinking a thing of water and suddenly, oh my God, it's like, mob, I've lost my pace group. What do? Well, listen on. So, okay, let's go back to elevation. We're really through the tough part. I shouldn't say the tough part, the critical part. Do not look at mile 25 to mile 26 where my cursor is. Don't dare look at that. So we're through mile 6 right over here. We're cruising along Sunset, little downhill, little rolling. You know, you're gonna have to adjust. The pace chart doesn't completely do it. If you use the times on the pace chart, if you hit like mile 8 around the certain time, it doesn't have to be seconds, you know, you'll know about where you're at on the game plan. Oh, I need to speed up a little, 10 seconds. I need to slow down 10 seconds. But going through this whole area here, this Sunset area, is just kind of a little rolling. There's no area in LA that's flat. You want flat, go to my hometown of Ohio, Toledo, Ohio. I once did 56-mile bike ride. My watch said I had gone up 10 feet. 56 miles, 10 feet. You do more than that in the first third of a mile at the starting line. What do you go? What is it, like 30 feet or something like that? It's ridiculous. What is it? You're about 500 to 600. What is that, like 75 feet in a third of a mile? Are you kidding me? Right out of the starting line? All right, anyway, enough. I've gone on enough about that. So it's some rolling. Down here, I'm sorry, you're just rolling along. Somewhere around the halfway point, the intensity level will be a little bit. You'll notice on your pace band, on the game plan, the intensity will increase a little bit, not much, you know, but again, it's a little uneven, but then you start going a little downhill from like mile 13, and then you got this nice downhill to mile 15, which is, I believe, like Doheny. Yeah, right here, it's like, I believe that's Doheny, and you go through West Hollywood, and then you have that long drop down Doheny. Now, one of the things that all of you need to know, and pace leaders, talk to your people and talk them through this point. When you're running down this hill, when you're walking down this hill, walkers take pretty short, quick strides anyways, but runners especially, so walkers, this isn't completely for you, a little bit, but runners especially, and run walkers when you're running, I mean, don't even bother walking down that hill. When your watch says walk and you're on Doheny, your watch is trying to screw you up. Don't listen to your watch. So you're going down this nice big sized hill, this hill right here. Just shorten and quicken your stride. Don't even push back, right? Don't even really push, just pick up and drop your feet. Just pick them up and put them down. Really like that quick, you know? Just speed up and shorten your run. And run walkers, like I say, walk it. I don't know why. Anyway, so there we're now at mile 15. Really pretty flat going through Beverly Hills. There's a nice little downhill here on Rodeo. I love this downhill. This is really cool. You're right in here, right in this, right here is Rodeo Drive. And it is a downhill. As you can see, this little tiny niche, right? Where is it? Mile 16, right? That tiny niche right above my hand. That's Rodeo Drive. Not much, but it's a great little cruise. It's a nice place to pick up a little speed. Not so much race your heart rate, but pick up a little speed. Run walkers, yeah, I don't know. Walkers, of course, yeah, you go a little faster. I know mechanically you can't go really fast, but you don't want to go that much faster, walkers. Nice little downhill, great thing. You can window shop on both sides of the street. And Gucci, I don't even know the names of these. Every major expensive store is on that street, Rodeo Drive. And the cool thing, you can window shop, but they're all closed, so you can't buy anything. So there you have it. I love that. Window shopping without any expenditure. And there's no one there nearby to say, can I help you? And suck you into buying something. All right, enough. You didn't need to hear that. That's Rodeo Drive. Now you're going up a little bit of a hill. You're coming towards Century City. You're coming toward Wilshire. You're on Wilshire, right in there. Fairly flat. There's nothing really flat in LA. And then you're making that left turn. I believe they will probably once again have the cheerleader section right in, you know, the cheerleaders that are all like chewing gum going like, yeah, all right, I'm cool. By the way, West Hollywood, the guy cheerleaders, if they come back this year, right around this area, around after mile 14 in West Hollywood, truthfully, cheer them on, because I think they're the best cheerleaders on the whole damn course. And actually, they have pretty good legs, but I shouldn't say that. Okay, so you're coming towards Century City. You're going, you know, on the north side of the street, you're going with traffic, except there are no cars. This side of the street, you're coming back, and then you'll turn into Avenue of the Stars. You won't, I'm not sure you're really going to see the finish line because there is this kind of hill. You might, it's really right after, you know, you take that, you can see the turn. It's right after you take that turn. It's not even a quarter mile. It's maybe not even 2/10 of a mile after you take that turn. From mile 26, you take that right turn to the finish, but you're going by there. Whether you see it or not, you'll see Century City. Our awning will be right after the finish on Santa Monica Boulevard, probably on the right side of that westbound. I don't think we're going to be on the east side. I think we'll be on the west side of the street, but we will be on the westbound side of the median. There's a median in between the two. It's like a wall. There is a wall. It's only like 6 feet, but it's a wall between you're on the high road, they're on the low road, the coming back. You'll probably see them because you are on the high road. Anyway, Newman Station's all about. Then you basically, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. It's going to be a little higher intensity, but there again, you know, between mile 18, mile 19, you got Beverly Glen. I used to live on Beverly Glen. I used to live right where that X is, right about halfway actually between Wilshire and Santa Monica Boulevard and Wilshire. I was right in the middle. That's where I used to live for 27 years. And every year I pace led that LA Marathon from the Stadium to the Sea. I would get to this point and I'd look up this ugly, ugly hill. And I'd say to myself, you know, I could be home in like 2 minutes. I could shower, have lunch, or I could keep going. Well, I won't tell you what I did. I'll let you think about it. Anyway, there is a pretty good hill right at Beverly Glen. What is that, mile 19? Right in there. It's that, you see that little niche? Oh, excuse me. It's this niche. My apologies. It's this little niche right in there, is right about where Beverly Glen is. And then you kind of have a little downhill on Santa Monica Boulevard. Then you round the corner. I believe it's around mile 20. Yeah, right at the corner there. You see a mile 20, you take a right turn on Sepulveda right there. Bam, mile 20. You're going right there. You're going up that hill. You're going up Sepulveda toward Brentwood. Yeah, there's a little downhill and then more uphill in Brentwood. Got it? And then somewhere around here, mile 22 and a half, somewhere right in the middle here. What went up is now going down, right? So now you're what went up Sepulveda, you're now going down Sepulveda. So on Sepulveda coming back, you can really, really push it. You know, your heart rate's going to be higher. Your pace on that chart, which we'll go over in a second, is not going to be huge. But you could really speed it up right in there. If you got the glycogen left to go, use it. But be forewarned, get a little ahead of the game there, mile, what is that, like 23 to 25? Excuse me, 24 to 25, right in that area right there, 24 to 25, nice downhill. Kind of like, well, it's a good downhill. It's more than the last mile of the Rose Bowl half down. That was like Ocean Avenue. This is more so. This is a little more downhill than Ocean Avenue from 24 to 25. That's a pretty good one. Then you go back over Beverly Glen, a little hill back over Beverly Glen. Got it. Then look what happens at the end of your race. This is where things get ugly. You do not need pace leaders. You do not need to pace leaders. You do not need to think about where people are around you. Just get to the finish. You're at mile 25, which is, I believe, around Westwood Boulevard, or maybe a little after Beverly Glen, somewhere in that area. Where are we here? There's mile 25. Mile 25, yeah, right before Westwood is mile 25. You got pretty much 25 to 26 plus, a little after 25, right about Westwood. It starts going uphill. It's a little worse at Beverly Glen, and now you're heading home. But that's going to be one to think about. That's going to be calculated into your finish time. You want to maintain that 80 minutes of glycogen by holding back in that first 6 miles. That's going to save you glycogen. You want to take gels maybe every 45 minutes. That needs to be added up, that 100 calories,